You know, sometimes when I think that life is getting a little harder than what I'm used to or what I feel is normal, it's a change of scenery that really allows me to appreciate where I am. And sometimes it's just a slight change of scenery, which is why I decided to record this video out in my yard today. This is normally the time when you guys would see me advertising Handmade Alpha Academy. That's my Etsy coaching program. It only opens twice a year, so that lead up to it opening is something that I always spend a lot of time on, and I structure my video content around those launches because they're so important to my brand and my business. But I feel like I needed to make this video more. And I feel like it's worth putting my normal marketing on pause in order to create this one, because I know that there are a lot of people who are feeling down right now, and whether it be, you know, seasonal depression or lack of sales, or, you know, maybe you just can't afford things for your kids for the holidays. A lot of people are struggling right now. And even if you're not struggling, I know that you're sensing that struggle taking place online. There's been a lot more tenseness and fighting and cynicism, even in the communities where we normally would feel safe to talk and vent and express ourselves. And I don't think that it's because, you know, these individuals are mean or that they're trying to be bullies. I just think that everybody's struggling differently right now. And I think that they're all coping in different ways. And I know that the way that I cope might not be the same as the way that other people cope. I cope by helping. I cope by trying to better myself in some way and teaching. And I try to find ways to give back. But that's a very privileged perspective to have as someone who has an audience that is there to listen, I guess you could say. And I don't think that everybody has the ability. And it's not as easy to just say, oh, go donate money or go volunteer your time somewhere. It's not that easy because some people don't have money or time to be able to create those positive experiences for others in order to uplift themselves. So I do find myself, or consider myself, to be very privileged and very blessed by my community, because we do have this wonderful relationship where I'm able to show up every week, twice a week, to create this content that hopefully helps to improve your lives through your businesses, because ultimately that's what I'm all about. But because I have this influence and because I have this audience, I think that over the next few weeks, what I want to do is create more ways and opportunities for individuals to feel like they have an outlet to both get help, but also to give help, to hopefully kind of help ourselves. I mean, I know that for me, helping others is the thing that lifts me up. And if you're someone like that, or if you've never tried it, maybe you've never had the opportunity to, maybe see if it's something that will at least work for you a little bit. It's not going to be a fix-all. There's no magic pill that can, you know, make all problems go away, especially when a lot of it is having to do with the economy and tons of world problems and stress. And I know many of you are dealing with family stress and things like that, but I think that there are ways to find good, and maybe this could be an opportunity for us to all do something great together. Now, my HAA students, they're already doing a Secret Santa because that's more of a closed community. It makes it a lot easier to manage because we've only got about 1,200 of them. I know, only 1,200. There are 1,200 of them, and it makes it a little easier for me to manage than our main public group. So I've decided that starting today in the public Facebook group, what I would like to do is create a pinned thread where if you need something for your children or maybe for yourself, you can put an Amazon wish list. I do ask that you try to keep your requests reasonable, because though we are a big group, we want to try to make sure that everybody is able to get what they need. And I think that this could be a really great way for people to both help each other by purchasing items on these wish lists, or to receive that help themselves if they need it. So there will be information about that down below if it's something that you're interested in participating in. I'll make sure that we prioritize any questions that are about that. Just feel free to put those in the YouTube comments, or if for any reason I don't see them, you can put them in our Facebook group. But I want to make sure that we're finding ways to help each other. Now, I know for me, learning and keeping my mind moving is the best way to outpace seasonal depression. It's the one thing that I gravitate towards. I'm constantly consuming content and reading and learning during the winter because it's cold outside. I'm not able to do my yard work. So I spend a lot of time trying to enhance my knowledge. And this year we're doing something a little bit different. Over the last few Fridays, we've already started it, but we called it Webvember, where every Friday we go live here on my channel and we present an educational topic, a webinar, where you can watch it. You can watch this free educational piece of content about business. This week was about mindset, or last week I should say. But I want to continue creating these avenues of positivity. And with that comes our charity for St. Jude, which we attached to every single live stream. I went ahead and attached it to this video as well. If you want to donate, that money will go directly to St. Jude Children's Hospital. But I'm trying to create these opportunities where good can be done and can be felt. Now, I know it can be hard to find the good in the world, especially when you're feeling sad, or things are feeling dark, or you're dealing with negative family. And I'm definitely guilty of it myself. I've kind of been in a bit of a slump for the last few weeks, just because I've had pneumonia and I haven't been able to do the things that I want to do. And there's been a bit of family drama, and I've just been working nonstop trying to outpace what I know is my normal seasonal depression. And I know that we all cope in different ways. So hopefully through these charities, through the live streams, through our thread within the Handmade Alpha Facebook community, where you can request a gift list or post your gift list or buy a gift for someone else, hopefully we're able to spread a bit of that good. And if you're feeling like this, if you're feeling these same, just storm clouds that seem to be following many of us right now, I know this sounds kind of cliche, but I really encourage you to try to look for the good. And it's something that I think that we all lose sight of. I know that I definitely lose sight of it. For me personally, I think back to where I was when I was first out on my own. Our first house, it had black mold. It was awful. We were coughing up blood. It was so bad. And we had no heat. There was actually ice in our shampoo bottles. We had to wear coats in the house. We had no TV. And when we did finally get one, we had a DVD player, and we had one DVD. It was a box set of Borat and Grandma's Boy. And we only had that one DVD, no actual TV channels. So we just had to rewatch that movie, or those two movies, over and over again. And I hated those movies. I still can't watch those movies. Our first car, the door was welded shut on the driver's side. So when Mark would go to work, he had to climb over the passenger side to get in the car. And I remember he got pulled over because there was no light on the rear license plate. So we actually duct taped a flashlight just for his commute to work to the back of the car so that it would illuminate the license plate, just until we could try to figure out how to afford a light bulb. All of our grocery shopping, that was done at the Dollar Tree. If it was over $1, it didn't go in our shopping cart, and we ate a lot of ramen noodles for those first few years that we were together. And I'm not telling you this because I want you to feel bad for us or anything like that. It's more that now, you know, I feel like in those times when I'm frustrated at the world, I just think about how much we have. We have heat. We can stay warm. There's no more ice in our shampoo bottles, and we don't have to stay in our coats. We have a warm bed to sleep in. We have groceries, fresh groceries, not just boxed things that we bought for $1 at the Dollar Tree. We have a car, and not only do we have a car, but all the doors open, and we're able to put more than $5 in the tank at a time. Mark doesn't have to climb over the seat to get into the driver's seat. And I just think that it's really easy to forget how much you have that you can be thankful for, especially in a world where there are so many people who don't have anything at all. And I really think that when you start to think about the things that you have and how wonderful life really can be, and how far you've come, if you've come from a background like Mark and I, where you started with nothing and built up to something, even if it's not everything that you wanted, it's more than what you had. And I'm sure that there was a time in your life where everything that you wanted is everything that you have right now. That's exactly how I am. And I'm so goal-focused that sometimes I lose sight of the fact that I have everything that I've ever wanted. And yeah, it's healthy to want more. It's always healthy to want more so that you can work towards goals. It would be pointless to just stop. But I think that being able to reflect and think about everything that we've accomplished and where we are now and the life that we live, it's just so overwhelming to really sit and dissect the journey that we've gone on. Now, the reason that I'm recording this video right here in this specific spot is because I wanted to tell you a story and I wanted to wait until the end to do it. Hopefully it's something that leads you to sit and think as well. Mark and I have been living in this house now for about 7 years, and I hate this house. This house is so small. I always say it's our little cracker box because it's this tiny little, almost like a double wide trailer with a basement. It's where you see all of our videos. Those are all recorded downstairs in the basement. It's one story. It's very tiny. Our kitchen is so small that Mark and I can't even both fit in it at the same time. And this is where we've lived for the past 7 years because Mark's grandmother, she moved away and sold us this house. This was her house that she raised her daughters in, and Mark stayed here as a child. And we didn't particularly want the house, but we decided to go ahead and take it off of her hands because we needed a place to live when we moved from California. And we figured that this is where we could stay until we could afford something a little bit bigger, which hopefully we will be moving pretty soon. But I always hated this house because of how small it is, and our needs as a family are just more than what this house can provide. It was a great place for Mark's grandmother, but for us and our needs and, you know, running multiple businesses out of the house, we need something a little bit bigger. But then last week, I sent some old tapes in, some old VHS tapes from my family and from Mark's family into Legacy Box, which is a company that will convert your tapes into digital media because these tapes were very old and we were very afraid that they would break and then we would lose access to these memories. And I sat by myself when I got my tapes converted. I sat all alone and I started going through these memories that I'd never seen before. I've never seen any memories of Mark when he was a child. And I started realizing just how special this house really is. And I started seeing this whole life that took place here before I was ever thought of.
Look! What is it? A bulldozer! Oh! And a big troll!
And a control?
No, a beach roll.
Oh, God.
at me.
I shot the camera.
In this house that I once hated, and this house that I felt like we never really wanted it to begin with, or I didn't want it to begin with, this house that I felt trapped in for 7 years because it's so small, I started realizing that so many memories were made in this house. And now I look back at those memories and those videos, and I see these places where little baby Mark was crawling around on the floor, and I realize how grateful I am that we have been able to live in this house too, and have these memories and create these memories and create our own videos here and our own photos, so that someday when we do have to move, we can't stay here forever. We do need something larger. But I know that we were able to serve a purpose here in the timeline of this house and in the memories that were here. And just over the last week, I've been so much more grateful to have this space and to be able to sit right here where all of these memories were made with Mark's grandmother and his grandfather, who's since passed away, and pets that are no longer around, and memories that many of our family members have probably forgotten about. I think the key point that I'm trying to make right now is that a single candle can illuminate a dark room. And little glimmers of kindness can do so much to change your perspective on how you see the world. And for me, that source of light is in helping others. I'm actually planning right now in January to go back to my old high school to help some of the seniors through their future readiness program, where I'm basically going to be talking to them about preparing for life after high school, so that these kids don't have to live the same way that I did when I first graduated, and they don't have to do all their shopping at the Dollar Tree, and they don't have to live in a house with no heat or black mold in order to survive. I think that there's so much joy and purpose in helping others. So if you haven't known how to help, or if you need help yourself, I hope that by creating these avenues and these resources and these outlets, you're able to both give back and potentially receive help that you might need yourself. And hopefully you can benefit from some of these initiatives that we're starting today. Until next time, Pookie.